Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Ketchup and I'm joined on the desk by Jackie as always, and this is the ESL Guns of Boom GO4 Finals for North America. We're going to start things off with our usual giveaway. You can type GOB in chat and you can take part in the giveaway where you can stand to win. Stand to win. That's the word I was looking for. A Crimson Serpent mask, 250 gold, and in-game consumables. One winner is going to get chosen throughout the night, so by all means, it could be you. So get entering, and maybe you can get some cool prizes to use in-game. Welcome to the GO4 Finals. We just had Europe, where back-to-back finally seized a streamed tournament win. It's been a long time coming. It has been a long time coming, but I'm glad to see them finally take it. North America is a bit more of a traditional story, isn't it? Hyped Up are the #1 team. They win every time there is a stream on. The question's going to be, Jackie, do you think they will win again?
Are they going to be hyped up enough? Is it going to be time for another boogie night, or will they be struggling? Have they got the holster, the pistol guns, the finger? Yep, get them in there. Don't want those bad boys going off, mate.
At a bad time, you'll blow your leg off with this beast to play Guns of Boom with. But to be honest with you, we're going to be taking a look at the bracket in due time. But just to remind you guys that may have joined us, or you may be new to the stream from a North America side, what is this entire journey leading up for? Now, the question is quite a simple answer, really. The Season 1 Finals, they are short upon us at this stage. $120,000 of a prize pool. It's played live in Los Angeles. And right now, the only team that is 100% guaranteed is Black Bulls. They won the European Invitational, and we will be seeing them again. First and second place in Europe as well. Currently, those points belong to Forza Esports and Back-to-Back. So they are currently in the running. And then there is a direct invite as well. There's a direct invite from North America too. But it's first, second, and third of point earners, which I believe is Yakuza USA, V, and Hyped Up. Hyped Up have, by a significant margin, the highest amount of points compared to any team in this entire competition. So I have no doubt we'll be seeing them there as well. On that note, let's take a look at the Season 1 standings from a North America point of view. As you can see, Hyped Up, they are the champions of champions here in the GO4 Cup. V behind them with 610 points. Yakuza USA with 560. So as you can clearly see, there is a clear divide between the top three and the rest of the competition. So there's plenty of work left to be done. But as it stands, this is the set of teams good to go. Now, what I'm actually really interested in, we personally have not actually seen these standings yet, the current GO4 standings for North America, to see what the tournament today is going to be leading up to. So, all right, here we go again. It's Hyped Up with #1, V with second, and then LLC and Yakuza with that even split of 100 points. So I can say expect to see the expected today. I can assume we're going to see Hyped Up and V on separate ends of the bracket. It's probably going to be them against another team in the semi-finals would be my guess. And dare I say a V versus Hyped Up grand finals, because that is the most constant thing we see, because they just seem to be the two strongest teams in the region. And there we go. V versus Hyped Up actually going head-to-head first in the semi-finals, which is going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works for these two teams. Yakuza versus Amplified. We see Amplified move on. Haven't seen them in the top 4 in a little bit, so it's good to see them back. Now we can see V and Hyped Up are facing each other in the semi-finals, Jackie. How do you feel about that?
It's actually an interesting one, right? Because I think that matchup is probably what we look at as being more of a grand final, right? And we're like, all right, yeah, this is going to be your more expected American grand final. Hyped Up versus V. It's a classic standard game. The fact they now face each other at this point in the bracket does make it a little bit more interesting, because potentially we can see more from Amplified. We can see more from a couple of the other teams that we haven't seen potentially as much yet, because they're losing out on that lower stage. But now, if they get an upset win in their semi, because both of the more stacked teams being in the bottom side of the bracket, that means that grand final could either be interesting and closer because it's a brand new team walking in, they might not know them, or it also means the fact that it could just be an absolute whitewash in favour of either Hyped Up or V.
Well, we'll find out in moments time, but what we are going to see right now is the map Veto. We're going to find out what the team selected. Amplified banned out Atrium, Europe Square, and Wild West, and we saw Yakuza USA banning out Subway Station, Paradise Island, and Europe Street. The selected maps, Military Warehouse, Farming Complex, and it's going to be Skyscrapers again as the decider. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, Skyscrapers will be the be-all, end-all map it seems. But from my point of view, the interesting thing as well about the second semi-final, which we'll talk about it a little bit. We obviously want to talk about Amplified versus Yakuza because that's the match we're going to see. But the 2 out of 3 in the semi-finals means that there's actually a higher chance that maybe Hyped Up might not win. You know, because if you've got to beat them in 2 maps rather than 3, it does actually give you that kind of extra room to just surprise them, perhaps. Go with a map they weren't ready for. Go with a strat they weren't ready for. Get that one map on them. Cheese it out. You know, there's potential for these now when you have less maps to win. It's
also the fact that if you're a better team, you want to play as many maps as possible because it gives you more chances to bring it back together. And also, if you have a deeper map pool, you're going to be more favored, right? In a best of 3 like that, if you lose that first map, that's it. That's your lifeline gone. At that point, you know, one mistake and that's it. It'll be a foul swoop straight down into the lower bracket to try and play for the 3rd place decider. So can definitely affect you, but it seems like we are going to be getting into the action. Farming complex once again. That B&A site, they're going to be pivotal as they sprint their way through.
Okay, so here we go. Thanos is going to spill the first blood. Who saw that one coming? Kitty Monster deals and the Killer deal as well. We can see again, for another time, we can see some slightly different names here. Now, we haven't really seen Amplified in a while, so I'm actually kind of interested to kind of see what their current lineup is in general. You know, there are some different names here. That could be players changing their name. It could be just new players joining the roster. A lot of subs tend to be within the ranks of these lineups here. But look at the early lead coming out from Yakuza USA. As it's J-Master Pro Mode, ASD takes him out in record time. And a very stable lead for the Yakuza USA boys.
I think Guns of Boom is one of my favourite games for seeing what people would come up to name themselves. It's a very creative game for some of the names we see coming through. Like ASD on Amplified there.
ASD.
Yeah.
That was just a... That triple flick.
An active Kitty Monster, also interesting. Oh, it's a triple kill though for Optimus, as he is going to be whopping people out. Switches himself back out as he's going to roll out. And now, it's 500 points over to the just under 400 there for Amplified. Stuff has to get a little bit real.
Now the points are starting to be taken. The lead is going to extend further and further for the Yakuza squad. Optimus gets another kill. Optimus has just kind of been a monster throughout this map. Gets destroyed by Killer Deal. That's a Killer Deal and a half. Buy one, get one free, mate. And Yakuza USA have those 600 points. Doing well for now. They have a significant lead. Amplified, don't count them out. They can still win. But unfortunately, it does appear to be quite difficult. They've taken a nice amount of map control. In the middle of taking the middle point here, B is going to go down. Thanos with that long-range activation takes them out. And look at that blue on red. They get a complete team wipe, and this is now going to be uncontested point capture.
Oh, the elevated angle from ASD as he's going to bounce out, sprint up, and try and get amongst it. But I don't think he's really going to do too much. Does go down. They're attempting to secretly backcap the A site as well, but in the meantime, both B and C appear to have been taken. So Amplified constantly running after the coattails of Yakuza, trying to drag along, but not really been given the opportunity. It's 700 to what will be 1,000 soon, probably, before they even reach that 700 mark.
The main thing I'm thinking about this entire time is the fact that Yakuza and, you know, the other two, V and Hyped Up, they have so much more points compared to the rest of their competition. You wonder if this is just always going to be in Yakuza's favor through past results alone. Amplified, you know, they are definitely not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination, but there seems to be such a divide between the top 3 compared to everyone else in this competition, especially in North America.
C site trying to be captured there. As ASD is gone for a bit of a cheeky flank-style play, but the only thing is they have both B and A, and that constant trickle of points backed up with the frags that they're finding. Yakuza USA, also known as Buffalo Wild Wings, the Black Bulls of USA.
I am a huge fan of Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah,
I went to Denver last year, actually, for a different show. This is the most unimportant piece of information, but I finally got to sample it.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was so good. The premium of American food. I'm such a big fan. That's a sick replay as well. We were talking about the Black Bulls. There we go, instantly going in with that fade effect. But I think I actually lost my train of thought. I was talking about Buffalo Wild Wings. Oh yeah, I was going to say something about fried pickles or something, but I've already realised it's not important enough.
Just, yeah, it's gone now.
I also had some jerk seasoning.
Jerk seasoning?
It was.
Was it a bit mean to you?
It was, God. Hey. So what we really sort of took away from that first map was the fact that Yakuza USA, the second we kind of see a team that is seeming to be stronger than the rest of the competition, those kind of top 3 teams, when they go on control point, which I think by far seems to be the most team-oriented game mode, right? Where if the better team exists, they're probably going to win control point. We kind of have seen that in its entirety. So the fact that Yakuza took that first map, personally, doesn't really surprise me. I think they will have a better chance losing if we go on something a bit more traditional, like a TDM, like a King of the Hill, where you can get that one amazing group fight, sit on it, make it really difficult for them, where the chance for coming back seems to be a little bit harder. Control point seems to be more of a sort of pain train that you can keep rolling. Yeah,
it drags on for a little bit longer, and it's also one of those where it does come down to knowing your rotations well, right? So at what point do we go for the back cap, get ourselves over towards C site and lock it down? Because more commonly than not, that farming complex map really just has you constantly battling between B point and A point. That is the fast rotate, because they're so close together. And in reality, I mean, what? The line of sight that you lose is there's like a barn with a little door, so you have to just go around the corner, and then there's some tires. Other than that, you can pretty much see it all the entire way. C site is the one that's a little bit awkward. It's really far away, it's in the corner, and your only real secret area of attack is to go all the way down for the little underpass. So in reality, you constantly want the aggressive fight on A and B, and that's what we see, and that's why it does sort of just come down to the team that is smart on the rotates, because you want to constantly have them in the back cap. You know, you want to always have 2 whilst they're capping the one that you have just countered by taking. But we're on Military Warehouse for our second matchup. Is this going to be the 2-0, or can they bring it back and make it go 1-1?
If we have the chance of a 2-0, I think it's right here, right now. I think the other semi-final is going to be significantly closer. I think Yakuza USA being a top 3 team, I just feel like they are more comfortable versus the rest of the competition. However, things are going to get a little bit more traditional on the Military Warehouse. This is a much more traditional map. It's very flat, and it just comes down to just how well you can frag and how well you can maintain momentum. It's very, very different to control points in general. Yakuza, though, if it's going to be a simpler objective and about more just traditional team play, sticking together, picking your targets, Yakuza will still have an edge, but Amplified have a little bit more of a fighting chance, in my opinion.
Ooh, active kitty monster trying to run away and get out of there. The trip with the knives in the end. Eventually the kill will come in. Thanos, he's been loving the grenade damage as he's been launching them out constantly. Both teams just sitting nearly at that 100 mark as they will start to get it. Optimus comes through with a double kill as he is butchering up Killer Deal.
Now here comes that traditional play, pushing throughout their own other half, using the grenades to kind of just keep that zoning, that distance game established, but a complete team wipe from Amplified. Not really able to coordinate their defense as well as they probably should have, because Amplified just effortlessly breezed through the entire Yakuza squad. But now, as the typical fight tends to go, they have full resources as they've respawned. J-Mars looks like he's got a Thanatos, looks like to me.
Possibly so. If we see him again, we'll double check, but the way this one is going right now, it's looking effective for the side of Yakuza there. Optimus, just waiting for them to push around the angle, does have the cheeky little off angle. They shouldn't really spot him. They're all going to tunnel vision in on the players that are that close, but Goku just bound straight in there.
You could see that on the left-hand side. He was trying to spring a trap and just did not factor in that there was 3 of them around the corner. And he paid the ultimate price. That said, that did give him a lot of vision. If there were 3 people around the corner, you know when Magat went down, he was able to say, hey guys, they're all to the left. I did a little bit of damage, but yeah, that's where they are. Pick your choice, you know, go in for the attack. And it did work. Magat wins the fight, but at what cost? The damage over time effect that is established because of the Porcupine means that a trade is so likely if you're not rapid fast in your reactions to pop that healing item. Destroyed. Ooh, wonderful grenade.
Ooh, double kill as well. Ooh, he tried to continue it, but he will go down. Luckily enough, Goku is popping off right now. Starting to go a little bit Super Saiyan as he starts lamping him out. The backstab from Killer Deal as he's cutting prices and slashing through the members of Yakuza as well, but he has perished. It's close. Yakuza, they have got the advantage and they're building to that. Thanos might actually be their saving grace here.
Nice damage, and the 2-piece combo, Optimus and Thanos working together. Who saw that one coming? The most ambiguous crossover in history. Killer deal, too weak to survive. J-Master cleans that one up easily, and now J-Master looking to pick another trap. But I feel like the game, we might be at that point of no return for another time. Look at the kill difference. Yakuza, they just need 35 more points left to go. I mean, even less than that now, and this is going to be game over. A swift 2-0. Yakuza USA looking very pretty for making it into our grand finals for North America.
Yeah, this is incredible right now. Optimus as well, slaying, takes out Savage. That will be the final blow, and of course, it is from man Optimus, and that's Yakuza with the record time 2-0 there. They've got rid of that first semi-final with a day in a matter of seconds. They wanted to make NA a little bit quicker for us, it seemed.
It seems to be the story of North America, in my opinion, that, you know, results don't lie, especially the streamed ones that we get the pleasure of watching every 2 weeks because of these cups. It just feels to me like there is such a clear divide between top 3 and everybody else. And the proof is in the pudding. We saw Yakuza and Amplified, a swift 2-0. Yakuza didn't really look like they were, you know, particularly tested, but no doubt they will be tested in the grand finals because they will be facing either V or Hyped Up, and they are the top 2 teams in this part of the world. They're going to be going head-to-head in the semi-finals, and we'll be seeing them in moments' time. And Amplified we'll be seeing again in the 3rd place playoff. But again, for another time, they're going to have their work cut out for them because Amplified go from Yakuza USA in the semis to a 3rd place playoff against either V or Hyped Up. Like, this has been a hard path for these guys.
No matter who they play another one of the top 3. And that's going to be rough, right? Playing one of the top 3 teams in the region, losing to them and having to play another one of the top 3 teams in the region, it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them. And the best thing they can do there really is just play their own game. You know, at that point, it's still a good placement for them. They're still a team that is trying to climb that ladder, don't really have the biggest foot in the door. So anything you can get is beneficial. Just use it as the experience for what it is.
I know. If you're going to go down and you're not going to be able to get grand finals, try and take away anything you can from a defeat. At least a defeat on stream means you've been able to experience what it's like to play under the stress that a tournament stream will actually do to you. You know, the second we're commentating the games and you guys are watching at home, it does add an entirely new level of stress that our teams are 100% going to need to get used to if they have a hope at either qualifying for the Season 1 finals or actually playing well in said Season 1 finals. That was our first semi-final of the day. We have our second one now between V and Hyped Up. The battle of the gods here in North America, and we're moments away from finding out. We're going to go for a quick break. Don't go anywhere because we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to the ESL Guns of Boom GO4 Finals for North America, where we have our competition going on in chat right now. You can win the Crimson Serpent Mask, 250 gold, and in-game consumables. You can simply type GOB in the chat, and one lucky winner will take home this prize for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. My name is Ketchup. I'm joined by Jackie on the desk, and we have one semi-finals done and dusted. That's Yakuza USA walking briskly into the grand finals, pretty much unchallenged, and we now have our second semi-finals locked and loaded and ready to go. It's going to be V, it's going to be Hyped Up, it's going to be the two titans of North America, and we're going to finally see if V have what it takes to defeat Hyped Up in a streamed format. Hyped Up basically tend to win all the time when the stream is live, when the people are watching. The question's going to be, can they do it again? I'm not sure. Hopefully we can see some variety in North America, because Hyped Up are the most dominant by a country mile. Yeah,
Hyped Up really are the team that just sort of sets the precedent for the best team in the region by far right now, right? And it's interesting because I think there is a whole lot of potential for some of the other players we've seen in NA. One of the other teams that can definitely compete against them is V, so this is why it makes it so exciting to get into this semi-final, and I think the storyline really is going to be who wins here out of this, you know, who's going to be building from it, because if V overcome against Hyped Up, they might actually be within a position to then go on to win the whole damn thing.
I think if V can defeat Hyped Up right now, I would definitely go as far to say that I think they would be my pick to win the tournament, because the top two is going to be Hyped Up number one and V second, in my opinion. I think the tournaments are proving that. I think the current LA finals in the Season 1 finals are proving that as well, because they are, again, by far the top two teams in the region. So if they can take out Hyped Up, by all means, they have the tools and the means to get the job done and take home the trophy. But they have to get through Hyped Up first. That's the thing. It's going to be a titan of a task to beat.
Yeah.
But if there is one team that's up for the challenge, I'm going to say V all day. But my prediction will always be Hyped Up.
Yeah, I think that's fair, though. You know, basing it off benchmarks and common sense, they're really, you kind of have to just go for Hyped Up. But V, it's one of those where if they can, it would be interesting.
Of course. Now we have the veto ready to go. We'll find out what the picks and bans have been. Hyped Up removing Europe Square, Paradise Island, and Atrium. We can see V taking out Europe Street, Farming Complex, and the Military Warehouse. Starting things off with either skyscrapers or subway station. They were the selections to start things off, and then Wild West Saloon if we go down to a final map. I feel like that's quite a sort of North American way to end things. If it goes down into the standoff map, it's going to be on the Wild West.
Yeah,
we just talked about unholstering the finger guns and then just bam, bam, bam. That's the map for it. In fact, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna holster them back down, right?
Wait until we get into that map, mate. Then bust them up.
Until it becomes appropriate, we will return to this. What I will assume is a really low quality meme, but to us it's pretty funny. So it's either gonna be subway or skyscrapers.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here. I think either way, it's gonna be hard to predict if you're not going by previous results. You're going to go with your heart, and your heart's going to say V, because you always want to see the team that doesn't always win on stream win on stream. You don't want to see the same team win every time. It's not going to discredit the team, but Hyped Up, they win every week. These guys are greedy. Why don't they give someone else the chance, right? Well, a bunch of jerks. That's what I say.
And actually, one of the more interesting things is, right, because Hyped Up already have so many points accumulated, like ridiculous amounts of points to basically make it almost mathematically impossible for them to be knocked off from that first position, or physically. I think at this point, they physically cannot not go to LA. They are going no matter what.
They're confirmed at this point.
Yeah.
100%. Because it's top three teams in America too, right? It's the top three teams make it through. So
it's interesting because they pretty much have that spot guaranteed, to the point where if a team can beat them before they get to the final, this will be the first time we'll actually see another team get a big injection of points to try and overtake and start climbing up, because they've been constantly getting that, the mass accumulation you can get from getting the victory. Everyone else has just been sort of settling with a second place, a third place. If you get the win there, that's where it is really going to come in and pay its dividends.
It will indeed. So we're moments away from actually loading into our first map. And this is always where the pace starts to be set, doesn't it? Is it going to be 2-0? Is it going to be a 2-1? Only time will tell, to be honest. I think in the semi-finals, a 2 out of 3 will benefit V a lot more. I think Hyped Up seem to be the king of the 3 out of 5. They lose no more than one map most of the time when they play in grand finals. If they lose a map, it's only going to be one, probably the first map, and then they tend to win easily from that point on. In a 2 out of 3 scenario and having to win just 2 maps instead of 3, if you're trying to defeat what is currently the best, and I feel like we're having some issues at the moment. We lost 2 players, so one can only assume that we're going to restart the lobby. and get back into things. I think we've shut things down.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll find out what's going on, guys, but by all means, we'll get back into the match as soon as possible.
It's not like last time when I was like, nah, mate, that's a tilt leave. That's a technical leave.
Yeah, that one was for sure. I'm always actually wondering, like, when we had that last time a couple of streams ago, just how quickly you clocked on to a tilted team leave.
Yeah.
It was, you've seen your fair share of UKCS to go, I know a tilt leave when I see one. I'm just like, oh, I think they've just disconnected. Let's just remake the lobby. And just no. You don't understand.
They hate each other at this point. They've had enough. They're
one.
all screaming.
That's the one. Friendship's over.
Yeah.
Friendships have been ended because of this premium esporting.
The salt is out.
But the thing is, I find that as we load back into this lobby, we're starting off with the subway station, and it can be a very fast map, can't it? We've seen V take maps from Hyped Up before. They've been fast maps. They've been maps that have been taken so quickly. It almost feels like Hyped Up don't actually have an opportunity to think about it. They can't factor in how they've lost or exactly what went wrong. It's just you kind of just blink and the map's over. I feel like they're the best kind of maps to take against a team as strong as Hyped Up. Just beat them so fast they don't even have a time to realize what went wrong. But to do that demands a level of perfection. It demands that you play so well and you rely on Hyped Up not playing as well either, which is one of those kind of things where if you can destroy them, it's easier said than done, but it's possible. We've seen Hyped Up dominantly lose maps before.
Oh, yeah. Like, they're not unbeatable. By no means are they like the strongest thing, by all means, where they're just going to win every game consistently. There is times where they show that they're human and they can be beaten. It's just the fact that for the majority of the games we've seen, they have been by far the strongest team. And especially when we get into the grand finals, it seems like the best of fives are where they thrive, and that's where they just really dominate.
Now, the question's going to be grand finals. The potential grand finals between Yakuza and either Hyped Up or V, it's going to be quite a traditional program regardless. Yeah. They are our top 3 teams, and we will be seeing that match up in some way or another. But it also opens up for what we just talked about before the break, where Amplified kind of had a rough time in this tournament by just the draw, the luck of the draw. They've been able to get this far, and congratulations for the top 4 result. But losing to Yakuza means they now have to fight either Hyped Up or V for the 3rd place. That is a very scary situation to be in. You can sort of, get as much experience as you can, take what you can from it. And one would hope that we're going back into this ready to go. We'll pay attention to the players. Thank you very much for staying with us, guys. Apologies for the delay, but I do think Subway Station is going to be ready to go.
Yeah, it looks like it, as we will be back in another time. Gobston Park. You sit there, mate. Guns of Boom. Gob.
And that goes back to in the UK. Jen, unfortunately, has left the lobby again.
Oh, no.
Not really sure. I'll be honest, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Pulled a fast one on you there, didn't we?
Again, they just mixed us up. I think that might be deliberate, just to make us suffer on the desk here. Just saying, no, got you again.
Yeah,
got you again. You thought I was going to play, but I'm not going to play. God. It's really late here in France. It's really late.
Yeah.
It's been a long day, hasn't it, Jackie?
It has. We left the UK very early.
4 a.m. start, boys.
And now we're here.
Finger guns.
Just
run out of material at this point.
Yeah, well, to be fair, we've run out of ammunition.
It's just my empty clip. How would you finger gun an empty clip? So this is like the regular gun, right? It's an empty clip like this, and it's just a meager little, like an old Luger. That's like a Colt, right? That's like a beast, and that's like an old school like Luger. There's like old school little thinny ones where you have to put it in. Do you remember ever play Medal of Honor? It's that.
I like how in depth we're going with our finger gun lore.
I think there's loads of finger gun lore that you could probably go for, in my opinion.
P250.
Can you imagine finger gunning a Guns of Boom gun? You'd need a hand twice the size. Because they're huge. The guns in Guns of Boom are massive. Look at this. That's the face of a man that is trying to absorb what I'm saying.
trying to work out how you finger gun a gun
from Guns of Boom. There's so many
guns and fingers and booms.
Boom time, baby. So if you haven't realised, we're kind of waiting to find out what's happening currently with the lobby, and we're improvising. As you can tell, we're not very good at it, but we're trying our damn best for your entertainment. We actually just saw the link at the bottom. If you actually want to take part in these Guns of Boom tournaments and you actually do want to connect to lobbies, you can go to esl.im/boom sign up. He's finger gunning and you can't see it. He's already recovered though, so you can't see that anymore. But you can do it for ESL EU or North America, and who knows? Maybe you'll be the one in our lobby next time, and you'll actually connect to it.
Maybe you'll
be sick.
Finger gunning. I feel like Snods.
We've spent, oh my God, this is a story for another time. Snods is a human that is not Guns of Boom, but he's here and he's from another shooter in another galaxy, far, far away.
That finger guns.
With finger guns, yeah. It's been a good day for it in the UK.
Yeah, for the finger guns, boys.
And really crooked dabs that are like both arms out like here.
Yeah. And throwing trophies in the air and nearly killing yourself with the trophy topper. Oops, sorry.
That's the finner. That's the finish right there. Yeah, so basically what we're trying to find out right now is essentially what's going on with the lobby. By all means, when we go back in, as soon as we know what's going on, we'll let you guys know what's going on. For those that may have just joined us and you're wondering what the hell you're watching, this is the ESL Guns of Boom GO4 Finals. We do this every single 2 weeks. We've just done Europe. And we are currently waiting to see what's happening with our second semi-final. It's going to be between V and Hyped Up. And
let's try again.
I've got my finger guns crossed. I'm hoping that we can go in. This is the third.
In the left corner, weighing in at 250 pounds. We're in.
Yes.
Let's get it.
Yes. I was crossing my finger guns, and that was giving me the luck that I needed.
Oh.
So either way, Venom spilling first blood and immediately scoring just short of 100 points. Hyped Up with a wonderful start. Jen, she is a killing machine in her own right. She has some wonderful games, she really does. One of the star fraggers of V, absolutely.
Yeah, Jen can pop off actually ridiculously. I mean, I'd say, to be fair, some of the plays we've actually seen her come out with is very reminiscent of sort of what Killing Machine does, but in sort of the NA scene. So Jen, really one to watch when we get into those nitty-gritty moments. She can be incredibly effective. And there you have it already. Double kill comes through. Solid Snake, not so solid anymore, more like Mushy Snake. He's dead.
Dead Snake.
It's a pile of death, Ryan.
Dead Snake actually sounds like a name one would have. Oh, what a wonderful double grenade, actually. It's not going to get the kill, but it kind of set up for the future. That's the thing, right? Even if you don't get the kill as you go down, it all comes down to how much you can contribute before that happens. If you can do so much damage, you set someone else up for a double kill. In some ways, that's almost better, because if you allow a double kill, that's more points than what otherwise would have been secured. They're going to go in for the pincer maneuver. Gentrix coming up behind, giving a little bit of supportive fire. Hyped Up in the lead, but not by very much. They're starting to take the point back. That grenade's going to absolutely get no damage whatsoever, completely missing, which causes Solid Snake to go down. Kev taking out User as well. Gentrix running away, but the damage over time is going to put him on borrowed time. Venom finishes the job.
Oh, the nades coming through. That's going to be Jen. Hit by that and blown straight out the server. It's 5:06 to the 419 of Hyped Up. There's this one. He's getting quite close. Stark going to be able to hit Kev with the grenade. Big Kev straight out the server. User slays Gentrix. Corrupt has been corrupted by Venom, and they all jump on the point. They're going to get that slow trickle back in their favor. Hyped Up actually starting to now push the boat out a little bit and get this more into the sort of game we expected to witness.
We talked about how we thought the best of 3 is going to benefit V a lot more than Hyped Up, because Hyped Up seem to be the kings of the best of 5 scenario. And actually, look at this early lead. V, they had a rough start, but they've been able to more than recover the loss that they've been taking. They now have a really comfortable lead. By all means, Hyped Up could still take things back. They can get the reins for another time. But if V take this first map, it's best case scenario. That said, Solid Snake gets one. Stark takes another. Hyped Up in the blink of an eye have started the mounts of a comeback here in our second semi-final. V are in the lead, but it's not by much anymore. Corrupt is very, very weak. He's going to drop User, gets a double kill and a butchered kill. So much points there left on the table to take, and he'll happily take it a triple kill as well. User playing out of his mind, and this spree that he's on the verge of getting might put them in the favor. Stark gets a grenade. Solid Snake gets another, and this is reaching danger territory, Jackie.
Yeah, this is definitely crunch time now. Whoever wins this next firefight might essentially secure the game here and there, and that will be it. Hyped Up, they get the first map as they will lock it down. They win. They were able to just dominate as they took success in that last matchup.
That was back and forth. By the pure definition, that was a back and forth. They won by about 200 points by the end, of course, yes. But throughout the entirety of that map, it was 100 points either way. It was not, deadlocked. I was actually really prepared to see V take that one further, but unfortunately, can't quite finish it. And I actually think that's, in this one particular matchup between V and Hyped Up, it always feels like V are unable to finish their plate. I don't want to say they play with their food, because they don't. It's just they have moments of greatness, but they're unable to take those moments and turn them into a victory. Hyped Up always seem to make comebacks. They always claw it back, and the win goes in their favor, kicking and screaming, really, whether it likes it or not. V just need to try and take that 100%, right? They're so close every time. And
I thought you were just going for the Italian.
no, I wasn't.
I just saw that.
I was going to say that small piece, but my hand was located the wrong bit. Yeah, that's it. But I guess you can take
Mamma mia.
take from that what you will. But no, Mamma Mia. Yeah, that was a good turnaround.
Here we go again.
So here we go. That was one of the maps taken down by Hyped Up. They just need one more now, and they're going to walk into grand finals. It was hard to predict that map, but that seems to be quite a common thing with these two teams.
Yeah, they are weird in sort of the sense of it can either come down to literally just an all-out bloodbath and someone will pop off. Jen will either just go wild and really set them up for success, and the rest of the team will come in then support her. Massive amount of frags and they'll dominate, or we'll see what happened there where they have a really strong early game, but when it gets to the late game, it is just the... I don't know if it's just the communication or if it is just the teamwork that we have Hyped Up, comboed with the fact that individually they're quite talented, but they just seem to have a really good understanding of when to take team fights and how to actually win them without putting themselves in too much of an open position to actually be caught off in a negative light from it.
That to me is actually, I think you were really onto something. It's a knowledge of how to go in and when to take fights, but it's also when the fights take place, optimizing who gets what kill for what bonuses.
Yeah.
Like whenever they win a team fight, it's not just a four-person kill. Like right here, that was a double kill that was entirely set up by the rest of Venom's teammates, which is why they had an early lead. I think they pushed a little bit too heavily into that fight though, and they lost all of their lives. Solid Snake, you were on borrowed time, mate. See you later.
Fun fact, you know, snakes aren't actually slimy at all. They're actually quite dry. It's a misconception, isn't it?
It is.
It's a really popular misconception. It's quite sad.
Eels, on the other hand.
Very slimy.
Very slimy.
They're finding an entrance where they can.
They do. They do indeed. I like eels.
Eels.
Anyway, moving on. Venom. We can check him out. Solid Snake actually gets a double kill, which is a very early way to take some leads.
Classic Snake Eater.
He'll be anything for the stat boosts.
Was that grenade like a little sticky grenade then? It got stuck on the wood.
Sometimes you actually use some of the geometry on the maps to your advantage. You know, sometimes the maps will actually cause the grenades to bounce in certain ways. Not saying it's not intentional, because of course, you know, you kind of take the physics as you take them.
Yeah.
And players, they have an understanding of the game's mechanics, and they can throw some really sick grenades. Speaking of which, Gentrix gets a killing spree because of a surgically placed grenade. Well played there. And now V are in the lead, but I always feel like the second we see V in the lead, I don't want to say you can't take it seriously, but you really can't take it seriously, because the second they get a lead, it almost feels like how long until they inevitably lose it, and Hyped Up just steal it away in like 10 seconds.
By the way, isn't a surgically placed grenade pretty much just the plot to Crank?
Is it?
I can't remember. Wasn't the plot to Crank the fact that if he didn't keep his heart rate up that high, something could blow up in him? Or was it that he would just die?
I don't know. It was just one of the many Jason Statham movies that is outlandish but highly entertaining. Anyway,
back on topic.
Back on topic, which I think is the running theme of the day. Sorry guys, it's been a long one. Corrupt. Oh my god, so many amazing grenades from these guys.
Well, to be fair, he was a former NBA player, actually, Corrupt.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I thought you made that up. I'm about to say, how do you know that?
We go way back.
Little did you know.
I was there when he got drafted, mate.
And Jen. Again. Oh, unfortunately can't get the damage required. Still, a very solid lead, to be honest. Hyped Up. They have plenty of work to do. User, very weak indeed. The damage of a time effect from what I assume will be a Porcupine, putting him incredibly down. There we go. Corrupt takes down another one. V looking really good. This very well could be a 1-1 situation. Corrupt gets a killing spree as well, and that might be all she wrote. They just simply need to stay consistent now, and they will win more than happily.
They're going to try and deal some damage here, though, as they sprint their way around. Jen will go down, slain by User, as it is a 440 to a 327 here in terms of the scoreline. Solid Snake is so low, he just needs to run away and stay alive, but has been caught on the flank by Gentrix. This is going to go one man way. This is to be a third map here. There's no way.
And the killing spree is going to secure that. Wonderfully played by V. And we're going down into our final map scenario, which actually, you know what that means? You know what that has time for? It's time to whoosh, unholster the finger guns.
Oh, it's Wild West.
It's actually going to be Wild West, you know, drawn. It's going to be... How would you do that, right? It would be like a bam, 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 bam,
what,
bam.
to cock it.
Because it's the Wild West, isn't it? That's the...
Yeah, well, that will reset the chamber, mate. Get the next bullet chambered.
I really want to see that. Actually, I think there is actually a handgun in Guns of Boom that does that. I've seen it before. Yeah, there is a 6-shooter in Guns of Boom. I've seen it. It looks actually really, really sick. I'm a big fan of it. We don't really get to see the handguns enough in Guns of Boom.
We see a deagle sometimes.
We do.
Bit of a deagle.
We do. We see a little bit of the deagle. Sure, that's your personal favourite, I'm sure.
We also sometimes see the beagles coming out if people are walking their dogs.
We do, especially in the UK.
Yep.
But, to be honest, the second we went into Skyscrapers, the team deathmatch is always going to be a different beast. Yeah. You know, it's so drastically different to every other mode, and I think there is a reason they go in with Skyscrapers. I feel like the community seems to deem that Skyscrapers is... It's easier to break from tradition on Skyscrapers than it is other maps. Because if you look at other team deathmatch maps, I'm not even going to talk about the difference in the height that you always get, because that's the biggest talking point in Skyscrapers. It's just the fact that the geometry is so, we'll say, weird compared to the regular maps. You know, it's not flat. It's not completely like flat in symmetrical. There's so many more angles, so many more ambush locations, so many more like tunnels you can go down, so many more places to take a fight. It is not the traditional TDM map. And I think players quite like how you can be a little bit more tactical on it. And I think there's a strong reason that in competitive, we see it picked all the time. But that said, we're going into our final map, which is going to be the Wild West Saloon. Now, this one just seems to be highly unpredictable. It's always hard to call because it is always one of the fastest maps in the game. The point growth in general is outrageous if you are having the game of your life. You know, if you're holding that point, if you're getting the kills, if you're getting those real highlight reel moments, you can win in like half the time the map actually takes to complete normally. Have you seen Westworld, mate? I've never seen it, but I've been told to watch it. I'd recommend it. It's a very good show. Yeah, very, very good. I'm a big fan of Anthony Hopkins, so yeah, it's a personal favourite of mine, so I might watch it just for that. I would. That one's coming out to everyone at home as well. Check out Westworld. Oh, God. That's an endorsement. A personal endorsement from Jackie. And we're in as we get underway. The frags are going to start coming through as we jump in with a Rough Rider, Jim West, Desperado. You don't want none of this, no nada, mate. Right. An early start. Very even, but V. They have what resembles to be a lead here. And they have the point too. This is the interesting thing to me. But the fight goes back and forth. The winner's very, very weak indeed. Gentrix tries to jump down, but punished with that life of his, which is no longer his to take. And Hyped Up immediately take the point. This is so close. You can tell that this is the two top teams in America, right? You can see it's number 1 and 2. Look at how even. And not to say that they've never defeated Hyped Up. We have defeated Hyped Up before. It's just never been on stream. It's also the fact this is in the early stage as well. This is in the best of 3s before we even get into those late round best of 5s to see who is going to take the 3rd place. And that's what's crazy, because potentially this means that if Hyped Up lose this map, they'll be playing for a 3rd place decider, which is quite interesting to say the least, considering they have won pretty much flawlessly every week. So wild stuff as we do carry on anyway. At this point, pretty much 300 points on either side as they are looking to try and deal some damage. Jen, go for the flanky play. Taking a long time to chase down Stark, though, kind of putting herself in harm's way, but it doesn't really matter. Ooh. Feels like everyone else on Hyped Up was horrifically distracted, not really able to deal with the fact that she was right behind them. Look how close this is, Jackie. I mean, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you think's going to win this? Do you think this is the day they finally do it? I'm going to go with V, yeah. I reckon so. I'm going to go with it and just see if we can actually get that going in their favour. But as of right now, Hyped Up starting to build back that lead pretty effectively. Stark going to do what he does best as he starts to punish with a weapon that he made out of some scraps in a cave. Oh, yeah. I was wondering what Stark you were talking about there, actually. There you go. There we go. Excellent. Thought the punish was going to turn me into a different character, but that final bit sealed the deal. But what is actually on the verge of sealing that deal was Hyped Up as they go towards the 2nd point. V trying to make a comeback. They haven't taken the lead, but they have the point, which should naturally allow the trickle. Stark gets a double kill, going in for a grenade, which is going to do a little bit of extra damage, or at the very least force Jen away from the point, which is going to be a little bit of a pain, but not too much, as now the middle fight takes place again. This one's going to go down to the wire. I can just feel it. Ooh, the elevated angle here for Stark could work out well. He is firing down hell from above, trying to get those shots off, really keeping up the damage there. The DPS is constantly going through. Eventually will get that kill as he punishes. Drops down towards the site. Cheeky little nade going to get thrown through as well. Vintage Stark in play, but he has gone down. Luckily enough, there is players in position to keep defense on that site, and it's looking good. Oh, both teams, 680 to 690 there. That was, for a very split second, that was a complete identical score. V They don't have the lead, but they have got the map control. Spoke too soon. Venom gets a double kill, and now he's going to get as much damage as possible. We can just see the spam coming out from those grenades. Keep them as far away as possible. Hyped up. They're starting to run away with the lead. Are they going to move on for another time in a row? We are reaching the dangerous point, near the point of 100 left to go before this map's going to be over. Can V finally take out Hyped Up in a streamed game, or is Hyped Up going to remain the cream of the crop and walk into grand finals? I feel like it might be happening again, Jackie.
It seems like it's 800 points to what is about to be 1,000. There's 50 points between them winning this matchup, and it's getting smaller and smaller as time goes by. 40 points. They will be able to negate the point control, but the nades roll in. They are low. He drops down. Stark could save the day right here as he gets the kill on Gen. 5 points. There it is. Venom will claim it. Hyped Up. They get the win. They keep on moving. They will be going to the grand final, meaning that V will be playing in the third place decider.
I think that was the expected result, but I think with how close those maps went, it could have gone either way up until the last possible second. But in typical fashion, when V had a lead against Hyped Up, they're unable to finish the job. They have what could be a wonderful opportunity to pull off the final streamed upset and prevent Hyped Up from being in grand finals, but in typical GO4 fashion, they just can't be stopped. Now the question's going to be, can Yakuza USA take out Hyped Up at last and maybe give us another GO4 finals champion? Or is it going to be our usual program? That also means that Amplified versus V is going to be our third place match. Sorry, Amplified, it's going to be a tough one, but maybe this is the day they can finally pull that one off as well.
Potentially so, right? You get left in a position there where at least you can try and impress, or at least show what you can bring to the table against a team of that stature. If they were to actually then go through and get themselves a third place for Amplified would be absolutely huge. So at least for them, there's still something to build from.
Well, we're going to go into our third place and waste no time. We're going to go for another quick break and prepare the lobby and get the players in locked and loaded. And while we do that, we're going to go for a quick break. Don't go anywhere because we'll be right back. Hello everybody and welcome back. This is the ESL Guns of Boom GO4 Finals for North America, where I will no longer do the worst throw of my career. As you can see in the chat, we have a giveaway going on throughout the course of the stream. You can win a Crimson Serpent mask, 250 gold, and in-game consumables. Type in GOB in the chat, and one lucky winner is going to get selected throughout the night, and it may be you, so there's no reason to not go for it. My name is Ketchup, joined by Jackie on the desk, and there are 2 series left to go here in North America. Hyped up, awaiting against Yakuza USA in Grand Finals. But first, as you all know by now, we've got to do a third place playoff because the top 3 teams will get cash, and whoever gets 4th gets nothing. See you later, mate. Thank you very much for playing. So it's going to be between Amplified and V. I think this is automatically going to be a very difficult challenge for Amplified because they are within that top 3 by a comfortable margin. You know, the leaderboards don't lie, and it does spell disaster for Amplified if they don't pull it together and try and play some of the best Guns of Boom of their lives. We're going into 3 out of 5 territory now, so we're going to have a little bit more games to play, a little bit more maps to work with. How much of a difference does a 3 out of 5 versus 2 out of 3 make, do you reckon, Jackie?
I think it's definitely a lot better for teams of this caliber as well when you get into it, right? Because it's at the point where you should have a pretty varied map pool. You want to try and be comfortable on as many game modes as physically possible at that point, so you can actually play these best of 5s and have it to only be a benefit to you rather than be anything that would be a negative, right? Because the more maps you've got, you've literally got that extra chance there of failure, and you know that, sure, if they go for one cheese pick, they might beat you on that one pick. You are then quite comfortable to get in, say, another 2 control point maps. You can veto out the maps you know they're weak on. It basically just makes the veto system a whole lot more interesting because each team just gets 2 bans, and then we're left with the core rest of the map pool. So it forces you to have a pretty varied map pool.
I feel like it also takes into account the more experienced teams, because the more you compete at a high level in tournament, the more familiar you get with the rest of the competition. And that, of course, brings with itself a new pool of knowledge. You'll fight a team and know that even if the game has a meta and there are weapons to pick and there are strategies for each map, you know that when you're against someone like, let's say you're against Amplified, you might know that Amplified are weak on a certain map because you've been playing so much competitive, you're just familiar with that by now. So you start to select the maps you know they're going to be bad on, you ban out the maps you know they're going to be strong on, and that's vice versa. That kind of applies to every team. But it does introduce that extra layer of competition to Guns of Boom, and the map veto system has definitely done that so far. We're moments away from finding out what the vetoes are going to be. It takes a little bit longer to find out what maps they want to take out and put in because obviously there's more maps to play. But that said, prediction-wise, Jackie, I'm definitely predicting, I will say a 3-0 for V. I see this being a win they should be able to comfortably take just by previous results alone.
I think 3-0, 3-1 at a push, right? If it boils down to maybe just potentially a close game where they're playing well, because you can just live in the moment, and sometimes if you have a good early game, you really can start to spiral. But Amplified definitely not on the same tier just yet as V. V have proven that they can go toe-to-toe with the absolute best at the moment, I'd say. And in terms of the sort of current standings, you know, they really are one of the sort of the top, at least 3rd or 2nd teams currently. I think they're, for me in my rankings, I'd say they are the team just below right now, hyped up, literally just sitting there on the tier below. So pretty much facing off against the 2nd best team in North America is going to be a very hard fight, right? So even if you just use it as a benchmark or potentially a learning experience for them, because it's now best of 5, you can see what's going wrong, how are they playing versus how are you playing, and why is that benefiting them. That's something they can look back afterwards, and definitely worth them looking over the VOD at the end, I'd say.
Now, you may actually notice on the bottom of the screen we have a sign-up link, esl.im/boom sign-up. Guns of Boom is free to download. You can get it off basically any app store, any Play Store. It's available. You can get it for most mobile devices. And you can sign up to these cups free of charge. If you play the game and have a group of friends that you play the game with or enjoy what you see here, especially if you see the quality of the play and you feel like you can do better, then try and prove it. You know, who knows? Maybe next time we do a GO4, we'll actually see you on stream. That's the one thing to take away, is that this is not a invitational league. Anyone can enter. It just so happens that the teams here are the best teams and they manage to outplace everyone else. So lo and behold, here they are week after week. There is nothing stopping you as a player from coming into these GO4s yourself and taking part, especially if you've got the skills to pay the bills. And pay the bills you will with a $120,000 prize pool at the end of Season 1 live from North America. That, to me, is going to be one of the interesting exchanges. It's going to be Europe versus North America. We finally get to put the discussion of which region is better, we can put it to bed. But right now, we have the map vetoes. As you can see, V, they banned out Europe Square and Europe Street. Wow, they don't like Europe. What's their problem? Amplified banning out Farming Complex and Atrium. And then the selections are Skyscraper, Wild West, Military Warehouse, Subway Station, and finishing things off with my personal favourite, Paradise Island.
You do have a Paradise Island, and it is quite good. It's one of those maps
It's just fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. It's very aggressive. It is definitely, one of the more aggro maps, and you see a lot of interesting pushes that can come through. It just bodes for a lot of interesting fights on the site. It's constant condensed chaos, so I'm alright with that. I'm happy with that.
I like it because it just lends itself so heavily to like glory plays. Players that just want to really sort of make those big plays into big points, big score, which ultimately lead into map wins. So if we start off with Subway or Skyscrapers, I mean, depending on which one of these that we actually start with in the map, is actually going to be quite foreshadowing, I think, because Team Deathmatch seems to be a real strength of V's, in my opinion. I really do think that Team Deathmatch is a forte of theirs. Whenever I see them play in TDM, they always do well. Whenever they take those maps off Hyped Up, it always tends to be in Team Deathmatch as well. So, it's definitely a mode that they are strong in. And then on the flip side, Subway Station, Amplified have had some lightning fast wins. I remember watching a win, and I think it actually was Amplified that did it. It might have even been the very first GO4 we ever had. It was Amplified versus another team. The name fails me now. But it was pretty much like a 2-minute map.
Yeah.
You quite literally blinked and missed it.
Yeah.
It was insane. Amplified got grand finals that week, I'm pretty sure.
That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty good, interesting, because when you look at it overall for what we have there, more interesting maps on the North American side. It's been a little bit more free-flowing in terms of the picks and bans we've actually seen coming out. Obviously, the standard that we've been expecting every time has basically been Military Warehouse, which has been a given. It is back in there. In terms of the other maps, it's just a little bit more varied. And it's interesting to see the American players willing to sort of branch out a little bit, but they do hate Europe, so they are instantly perma-banning all the European maps.
That's what I've noticed. Like, Europe has actually been taken out of the equation more often than not, and I want to know what their problem is. But on a serious note, actually, the interesting thing is that in our selection today in the veto system with the European teams is they pretty much stuck to specific game modes. They took like an entire pool of the 2 game modes they liked and just chucked them all into the mix, whereas here it seems to be a little bit more take one here, take one there, stick it into this mishmash of a group of maps that we just feel like we're the strongest on. So there's definite differences there between the 2 regions. Our third place situation, as we've said before, we kind of predict V taking this one quite comfortably. Amplified, by no means are they out of the competition, but they've really got to step it up if they want to take that third place. And a third place would be great for them because they're not in the runnings right now. The top 3 North American teams in terms of total points will make it to the finals. They need to be able to show they can place within top 3 because the points that we have currently suggest that the top 3 is always Yakuza, V, and Hyped Up in whatever order it tends to be. They are the 3 top teams, and their points are 100% suggesting that.
Yeah, they are easily the best teams we have, and that's why it actually is going to be quite interesting. Amplified, can they take a third place, right? That's obviously the big caveat for this one now, is what would they walk away with? Because if they get third place, it bodes well. It sets them up for a big amount of success, and also actually makes people then potentially start to fear them a little bit, because it's like, right, all right, well, if you're beating V, you've now sort of broken into that circle of teams where it's like V will be able to get wins over Hyped Up then go on to beat who's next, and it's just that sort of endless circle of where it's now sort of got to the point where they're all good enough to beat each other, but Hyped Up are still the team that will win the entire series. They're still the best team overall, but they're now getting to the point where in terms of the NA scene, everyone seems that they could beat anyone on a whim for that first sort of map.
And normally the 2 out of 3, that first kind of whim map take is a lot more important because it pretty much means that you kind of get that immediate safety net, and then you're essentially facing people in a best of 1 scenario. 1 more win's going to take you in and take the entire series. Whereas a 3 out of 5, which is what we're about to see now, it always lends itself way heavier to the better player taking the crown. If it's 3 out of 5, you've got to do so much more work to assertively defeat a team. If you're going to 3-0 a team, you've got to win 3 straight maps. And at this level of competition, with the caliber of players that we have, that's no easy feat by any stretch of the imagination, especially against someone like V. Whereas on the flip side, because they are such a technically sound team, if they're against a team they can very much take games off and probably win quite convincingly against, a 3 out of 5 is a playground for them, because they can take maps for days. But if they can defend maps, it's way harder to crack into them.
It is true. Overall, I think really, what you've got to take into consideration with this series is just the fact it is kind of a known quantity versus still a team that has a lot of, A lot of unknown quantities that they can try and prove really going into this series for me. Amplified, are they going to be amplified? What have they got? You know, AA, Duracell, what's in there?
To be honest, right now, Amplified had such a wonderful start in these GO4 Cups, and as time progressed, I feel like they just somewhat started to fall off. They had a great beginning, and then just, you know, as the frequent competitions started to take place, they just started to drop off in the leaderboards, where right now they're just not within the top 3. And just to remind everyone, because I will keep saying it, because it is incredibly important, you've got to be within the top 3 of North American teams to actually qualify for the finals, and then the 4th spot will be direct invite. So who knows, maybe Amplified can get some of these big wins in the GO4 streams. Maybe they can please the people, and if you're a people's champ, then maybe that's where a direct invite will come from. So if you're not going to win by points, then try and make sure you give the people what they want. You know, are you entertained? Are you not entertained in all this stuff?
Yeah.
I'd be down with
Get
that.
out there being a cyber gladiator, getting everyone excited.
The finger guns,
With the finger spear, mate. You get, look at that.
the bayonet. That's the double. That's the double right there.
Well-
Now we're going into our first map, Subway Station. And we'll see who's going to take the all-important map number 1. Here we go. The initial clash takes place. No capture just yet. Gentrix takes the first blood, but it is going to be a exchange back and forth. Not a team player gets dropped as well. But V, they remain in the lead, but not for very long. And Killer Deal kind of falling into... I will be honest, I don't like that position. I really don't like that position up top on that sniper bridge. It's been kind of designed to be a sniper bridge, but if you do it in high level, the angle that you have up there isn't really that important, because you can sit behind the... right here, you can sit behind the middle, and the sniper tower can't hit you. And it's only effective on one half of the map. So when you go up there in high level, I feel like you're just wasting time, really.
Yeah, just putting yourself into a position where you're going to take an unnecessary firefight, and playing like this is probably the best thing you can actually do. V, going for the more aggressive play, bursting on the site together to try and kick the doors down and take control of the site, but unfortunately they do lose out. A response with the nades lobbed back in as well. They're all going to be re-entering, but they're actually going one by one. They're quite staggered. Now, luckily enough, the cleanup crew has arrived, and they have polished up the A site, as they will be able to claim it. The advantage is given to them as well, as they're at 335 to the 309 of Amplified. That gets a little bit better as he finds the first kill. Kitty Monster goes to try and get a double down, but instead it will be Killer Deal that kills Corrupt.
I gotta be honest, this is way closer than I thought things would be, and I'm glad to see it. Amplified look like so for now. They've been bringing their A game, and look at that shark head. I've never seen that. That's so sick.
It looks just like the shark from Shark Tales.
It does, actually. I wonder if that was an influence, you know, but who knows. Either way, I love all these new customizations. These people go in with each new update with full force. Look at him.
Look at him. Double
Killed
shark.
by, change his name to Hammerhead.
It's Shark Week, mate. There's blood in the water.
The shark pool, that is the 3rd place playoff. Now Jen having to beat that one-person army. I cannot survive. Unfortunately, the Kitty Monster's going to take her out. And V, they have been able to take the lead. That's the thing. Amplified, they were fighting back, but for now, V do have a substantial lead here. Gentrix gets another. Jen with the sniper on Killer Deal. And we're starting to run away with the win just a little bit. Gentrix gets surprised. Kitty Monster just... Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. Just completely running past Gentrix. No care in the world.
The nades are killing everyone at this point. V, though, they're storming ahead. Amplified, they've been keeping it pretty close the entire game, but when we get towards the crunch time here now, just the 800 points mark, about to dip into the 900 point mark, as we've now hit it. Yeah, look, it's done in seconds. Jen hits the killing spree, that'll be the closer, and that will be it. Done. As you can see, another victory picked up. The first win there for V, as they will find success over Amplified, kicking off this best of 5 well, meaning only 2 more wins are necessary for them to go through with that 3-0. As we were thinking, most likely they're going to.
I think the way that first map went through was not conclusive, but the fact that it was close at the very beginning was starting to change my mind just a little bit, because normally when you see one team significantly stronger than another, it tends to be a bit of a steamroll effect when it comes to how the in-game maps themselves actually go. Now, for the most of that map, it was actually pretty back and forth. It was just in the closing moments that V were able to get a win, and they pretty much played that snowball effect throughout, which resulted in a very confident win. There was a nice difference of points between the two teams, which ultimately led to V taking that map in quite convincing fashion. Now, if they can take the second map just like that, I would kind of continue my prediction of a 3-0. V, they did kind of just still look like the stronger team in that exchange. It just comes down to general kills. There were some really silly moments, you know, where we just saw Kitty, for example. Essentially, Gentrix was right there, and Kitty could have just, you know, even if Kitty had a porcupine, could have just looked in their direction and got an unchallenged point-blank shot.
Yeah.
And I refuse to believe that they couldn't see Gentrix because they were right there. They just chose not to do anything, not to shoot, and died anyway. Just these, it almost feels like clumsy, a level of clumsiness, almost tripping over their own feet, which shouldn't really be happening this late in the tournament.
I think it could just be the potential there for that like rush decision making, where you're trying to go over the best possible outcome in your head and work out what call to make there. And when eventually you get to the point where it's just like, right, we need to make some kind of play, you sometimes do make sloppy mistakes, and it can happen. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, it really is once again the old classic. You have to just take it as what it was. It was one map out of 5. Reset. You're not out of the tournament yet. You're, not gone. You do still have a chance to at least take that 3rd place. You just really need to step it up majorly. So let's carry on as we'll dive into the 2nd map of the series, and it's an absolute classic.
Skyscrapers, the favourite at this point. My word, we see this almost 100% of the time. Best of 3, best of 5, it doesn't matter.
Well, the sharks are out, and the nades are out and all, as though we launched them in. Look how low everyone is. Gentrix with the first kill. There's the follow-up from the nade. There's the follow-up from the nade.
Destroyed!
Just straight hitting them in the noggin with grenades. Oh, there's the response, though.
So many grenades. What a wonderful start. Now Jen, she's looking for that magic angle. Has to watch out, though. They're closing in. It's not the first time Jen's been sort of caught potentially out of position. Gentrix being the distraction. Taking so much damage, actually. Kill a deal. 1 hit away from being sniped. Corrupt gets taken out. 2v1. Unable to focus on just so many targets at one time. A 3 versus 1. You've got to just try and pick one and hope to trade, really, at that point.
Oh, Gentrix with a grenade is going to be able to bombard, kill a deal. Oh, sprint straight in. It's been so many grenades killed so far.
And a lot of them are prediction grenades that the opposition is running face first into. It's just, I'm not going to say it's lack of awareness. It's lack of care. They're risk assessing and saying, I'm still going to do it. I'm going to run it in anyway. I don't care.
It's just like, yeah, we got this. Well, everyone back over at the front of the map. They're going to be fighting out. The nades go rolling round. Luckily enough, they are able to avoid it quite effectively. Good use of the nade. Jen actually being able to come through there with a killing spree to give their points a little bit of a bonus, as they do get to 226 as they carry on now. Kitty surely going to be taken down there, yet will be finished off by Corrupt. It's not looking too fantastic for Amplified now.
Killer deal secures 1 kill. But that's not a deal I would take. Definitely needs more than that. Walking into multiple targets for another time. Here comes Gentrix.
Oh, as the kills come back through, Savage the OG going to claim not 1 but 2, and the response from Gentrix is just as strong. Oh, active Kitty Monster gets the slay down on Big Kev, but unfortunately did not realise the location of Jen for the win, who will ignite him with that damage over time effect.
Jen consistently placing well, doing really well in terms of score. She's always one to watch. It always feels like in these GO4 finals. V running away with the lead for another time. Every time it feels like Amplified might have a chance to come back, they just lose a fight. They just lose a fight, and it's nothing they can recover from. V really good at applying that snowball effect. Kev unfortunately missing that initiation porcupine shot, punished with his life. Corrupt getting melted as well. Definitely not going to survive that. Way too weak. But here are the final closing moments again. With less than 100 points left to go, V will be taking the second map, a 2-0. On the verge of a 3-0. They just need to do the last little bit of work they need to win. Amplified are really in big trouble here, Jackie, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not in a good spot at all, right? I mean, you're so far behind in terms of the points, and they're terrified as well. Individually, it's just going to be a couple more frags here, and then close this one out, and it exactly was just 1. Active Kitty goes down, that's a big play, and V get themselves their second V for victory, as they only need to claim 1 more to secure themselves that 3rd place.
And after how that map went, I'm going to really stick by my 3-0 prediction. I just seriously feel like V are way more comfortable in this scenario. Amplified, they've had moments of greatness, but I feel like to play at the highest level, it needs to be consistent greatness. Let's kind of, go with the opposite effect. Let's look at someone like Killing Machine, right, from back to back, and their miracle journey today and how dominant they won some of these maps. It was because it was excellence non-stop. The absolute highest level of play, and there was never a moment that some of these top performers switched off. And I feel like Amplified, they have certain moments where they get one good sequence or one good double or one good, group of kills in general, but they're not really able to seize the day, seize that opportunity and run away with it. They have the means of a comeback, but they're never able to mount a comeback, if you kind of understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah. The opportunity is there, but the way to actually execute it just never fully comes through, and it's also always a bit up in the air. In terms of the last map as well, if it actually does go in the way of a 3-0, it is going to be quite a rapid one, really, when we're thinking about it. But that does mean, at least, we set ourselves up to give the viewers at home our grand final that little bit quicker.
It does. Yeah, there's going to be pros and cons, right? If it's going to be a 3-0, it's unfortunate for Amplified because it means that, we're just kind of maintaining that storyline that there is a strict top 3 in the United States and there is just a divide underneath them. I'm not saying give up hope by any means. This is always a wake-up call to say, if we're not of that level yet, we have to keep grinding. We have to keep practicing. We need to do the fact that there are weekly competitions for Guns of Boom and play. And the grind always offers reward. The more you put into a competitive hobby, the more you get out of it. The more you practice, the better you get, the higher chance you have of winning, especially when you stick with your lineup. Some teams can kind of make the mistakes of mishmashing their members a bit too much. They don't have a consistent lineup sometimes, which makes coordination weird, which makes general synergy weird. You can almost develop trust issues within a team if you're not constantly playing with the same people.
Well, that's the thing, mate. I mean, technically, the saying is that if you put 10,000 hours into something, that's how long you need to spend before you become a professional at it and learn it to a ridiculous degree, I believe. But that's for, something like bowling, maybe. If you put 10,000 hours in, you'd be sick.
You'd get your money's worth at the bowling alley, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it would be too expensive anymore. Amplified had a great start, actually. Look at that.
I know, and they've made it a costly one, just as expensive as bowling against V, but nope, there's the response. Look at that, mate. Straight back into it. They're slashing those prices down. You buy one, you get one free.
You buy one, you get one free. Tumbleweed.
We'll leave it there. Thanks for watching.
Cut the stream. Anyway. Another close game. But to be honest, this is Team Deathmatch, right? This is where we kind of really build into this back and forth storyline of, you kind of expect the two teams to be back and forth, and then at the closing moments, you start to see that sort of closing in strategy. Teams, they kind of almost shell formation together. No one wants to give up a single kill. The sniper rifles come out. Wow! Surprise attack, Gentrix. I would say from the shadows, but he was right in their face with a big sharky grin as they die.
Jen, the follow-up frag as well, going to be able to take down Killer Deals. Looks to actually get herself another cheeky little kill there if she can pull it off. Does go down, but the trade comes back through. The damage over time from Corrupt was able to finish her off, and that is now 140 to 200 in terms of the scoreline. And catch up. You see they've got the little emojis, which is the rock symbol. You got the rock symbol there on the left-hand side. Do you reckon we could get one in the game that is a finger gun wearing a fedora?
I think it should be a finger gun with a little fedora on one of the hands or something. Or just a
on the thumb. Finger gun, fedora on the thumb.
I'd like a little hat. To be honest, I'd like a finger gun in general. I think it'd be very Guns of Boom, because to be fair, even on the graphics, one of the guys actually finger guns, doesn't he? He's got a gun in one hand and he's finger gun pointing at you in the camera.
Classic Guns of Boom.
You guys know what I'm talking about. It's the boom time finger gun.
It's boom time, baby.
Boom-tastic. That's many words, actually. Many words for that. But either way, we're reaching that consistent level of play here. V in the lead. Only slightly, because Savage secures a double kill, but there needs to be plenty more where that came from. They're sort of struggling to maintain that level of being able to stay on top of V. V have a consistent lead. The only thing that's consistent about Amplified is that they are consistently 50 points behind or more.
Yeah, and that's not really something you want to be known for. That's like being known for eating too much toast. It's not really helping anybody.
Not even you, really.
No, not really.
Because you could eat anything that's better.
You could have had a healthy, balanced diet, but instead you've eaten 15 pounds worth of toast.
What are you even doing?
Losing. That's what Amplified's doing there. 321 to the 371 of V, and it seems like in reality this should be closed down with a 3-0 scoreline, the Worthquake series, and a victory for V, I believe.
They're working on it together. They understand that how close they are to absolute victory, which is why they're going for that 3v1 again. But unfortunately, this time, Jen actually loses the 1v1. Savage, I don't think Savage really had the means to pop a health item until it was too late, so that's going to be an easy finish. And Jen already respawning. Plenty of armor, plenty of health. plenty of ammunition, and now they're sticking together for another time. It's going to be 46 points left to go. V should be taking this 3-0. They get 2 more kills. 1 more is going to do it, and I feel like this might be all she wrote. 1 more kill, and this is over.
Yeah, surely. An actual kitty monster.
Dead. So dead.
There we
go. Execution right there. And V effortlessly take this, well, 3rd place playoff. It's going to be a 3-0, a swift 3-0, kind of showing us why V are one of the top teams in this part of the world, and I feel like there are only a few teams that can challenge them. It's going to be hyped up. Yakuza USA can somewhat challenge them as well, and of course, when we go into that juicy Season 1 finals, we can see the rest of the world take them on as well.
Yeah, that is really going to be amazing, just to see actually how the European teams and North American teams bounce off each other, how they play against each other, how teams feel about actually meeting each other for the first time as well. It's always going to be quite an interesting way to look at things when we do get into the finals in LA. So looking forward to that one.
I'm going to be honest, I can't wait. I straight up can't wait. And, you know, congratulations, of course, to V for taking their 3rd place. They're going to be the first team of the North American day to win some cash. And, you know, by all means, hope to see Amplified back. I have no doubt they'll be able to place top 4 again. And keep grinding, keep placing as high as you can, and maybe you'll be within that top 3 running. Or at the very least, keep an eye out for that direct invite. We have 1 more series, and 1 more series alone left to play tonight. And that is the Grand Finals. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be back in a few minutes. Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Ketchup, joined on the desk by Jackie, and this is the ESL Guns of Boom GO4 Finals for North America. Before we kickstart our Grand Finals, let me remind you of a giveaway we're currently doing at this moment in time. You can win the Crimson Serpent Mask, 250 gold, and in-game consumables. Type GOB in the chat. You can take part in this, and one lucky winner will be selected to win all of these in-game goodies. Hopefully you can enjoy the grand finals that we have moments away. It's Yakuza USA versus Hyped Up, and it's going to be the never-ending story of North America. Will Hyped Up finally lose on stream? I'll be honest, either way I'll be happy, because Hyped Up, if they win, they're the strongest team for a reason. But if Yakuza USA can pull off the on-stream upset and take down the absolute titans of North America, I think it's a great story in itself, and it would be great to see. So, I don't know about you, what do you reckon? What would you rather see?
To be honest with you, I just like to see this probably be in the a closer matchup, right? If we actually see this go towards like full 5 maps, and if the veto led us into a position where it actually was a really competitive map pool, I think it would be an interesting affair. But for Hyped Up, if they win, obviously the extra points at this point, they're just throwing them around. They've got points to throw around. They don't really need them. But for their opponents, it would be good to solidify themselves and make sure they stay in that position.
Exactly. I think one of these teams has significantly more to lose than the other. That really is the big thing. But as you can see, here's our map vetoes. Atrium subway station banned out by Yakuza USA, and Hyped Up taking away Europe Street and skyscrapers. They've removed skyscrapers. That is absolute madness. I gotta say, sacrilege.
Call it off,
if you will. I gotta say,
we're not doing it.
Can we force them to do the map vetoes again?
Do it again.
And don't do that. Either way, Paradise Island and Farming Complex will be the guaranteed first 2 maps. Wild West Saloon and Military Warehouse, and if all comes down to it, Europe Square. We get to see Europe Square for another time. We only saw it once earlier with back-to-back, and it was such a dominant display. I think we barely saw anything even happen on that map because of just how fast back-to-back took the win. But it's been a good day of mixed results in some parts of the world. Back-to-back in Europe finally secured their win today. They were sort of like the kings of second place, and always with a 100% attendance record in grand finals, but unable to take a win. Today, that was actually able to be changed. If Hyped Up don't win today, well, it will be the day of just upset results that people don't really expect. I'm going to go with my brain and say that I do predict a Hyped Up win. I think history speaks volumes, and I think it's going to have a big factor in today's results. So before we get into our grand finals, I want to express a very personal thank you very much for watching the stream. Sticking with us. It's been quite a long one in comparison to some previous streams because of just how close these matches are going, which does go down to showing that growth is important and the grind is real. The longer these teams play and the longer these teams compete, both EU and North America, the results are naturally starting to get closer, which is just showing that the teams are taking it seriously and they know what's on the line. The Season 1 finals for $120,000 for a game that is as new as Guns of Boom. From one person to another when it comes to, I know a thing or two about being involved in smaller communities that get involved with these sports. A game this early with money like that is a godsend. And if you're a Guns of Boom player, take it with both hands. Trust me, you will not regret it. This is going to be an incredible journey for these players, and it starts here. It doesn't end here.
That's very true. I mean, this is year 1. We're looking at not even at our Season 1 finals yet. All we've had is our European Invitational. There's a lot to go down, right? There's a lot planned, and there's more to come as well. This is really only the beginning. I don't think Guns of Boom is planning on going anywhere anytime soon. So definitely worthwhile getting involved while she can.
You can go to our sign-up links using esl.im/boom sign-up. This is for both Europe and North America. Just follow that link and you can pretty much go anywhere you need to go. But I believe the preparations are done and dusted. We have our first map getting ready to go, Farming Complex. I feel like in North America, the Farming Complex is such an amazing trendsetter. Tends to be our first map quite regularly. But here we go, the all-important map number 1 in this 3 out of 5.
Well, Venom's already killed someone. Venom's then killed another man off the respawn.
Look how fast he's going.
Oh, he's having a sprint. Oh, Jesus. As he goes for the bounce around the corner, Stark absolutely just leaping in. As the damage comes through, the trades are there. It is going to be 124 already to the 90 of Yakuza. So this map does definitely evolve around the constant control of that A and B side. Right now, B and C have been captured by the side of Hyped Up.
A lot of coordination coming from Yakuza. They've piled 3 bodies into the center of the map. They're going to be vulnerable to grenades, but if they've been able to last as long as they have, you kind of start to understand that maybe the grenades on the the side of the opponents may have ran out. You kind of keep a mental note of how many grenades the opponent is using. It's it's a second sight you kind of need. It's quite demanding to have, but if you can count how many grenades they've used against you, it can make going in for fights or capturing points way less risky if you know they don't have the utility to kind of spam it.
That's very true. Actually, a good fight brought to the table there by Hyped Up to try and regain control of their points, but they're not actually quite able to get them. Both A and B was defended effectively. Users just hit himself and done a ton of damage with his own grenade as the push comes back through. Solid Snake in position, supported by Venom. They're trying to clear out this A site, open it up, and they get the entries. They're now able to push their way through and start locking it down. Nice nade there, rolled out from Thanos. That's actually the double kill. Looks to try and make it the hat trick, but he will be slain. However, it is 5-3-8 to the 4-23 of Hyped Up. So even though Yakuza have been in control of 2 points for quite some time, Ryan, it's actually still very close.
Indeed, and if we've seen one thing from Hyped Up, is that they are the absolute gods of pulling back comebacks in the blink of an eye. Because they know how to kind of ramp up their score spree, and that means everything when it comes to making comeback. Thanos just effortlessly breezing right there, and Yakuza USA. This is a fantastic start. I expected this to be a lot more one-sided because of Hyped Up's track record, but Yakuza USA, they're on the verge of taking this first map. If they can take this tournament, I will be ecstatic.
Thanos goes for the play around the rear as the grenades are being launched out, trying to get the kill to come through. Tagging up Solid Snake, does eventually get the frag down on him. It's 800 to 700 right now, but Hyped Up looking to try and bounce back in, and they're gaining points fast.
This is the Hyped Up that we know. They never give it up. Never give up, ever. Under any circumstances. This is the rule they live by, and they've made countless comebacks.
Oh, the nades are in. Solid Snake, he's done for. That's going to be J-Master finishing him off. It's so close, both of them pretty much sitting there on the 900 mark, and it's going to be a bit awkward because Yakuza, they've just got that additional edge right now. Stark and co need to carry on getting these frags. If you could get the follow-up knife kill, it would be incredible, but right now it's looking a little bit awkward. 900 to 1,000. Ryan, this could be Yakuza getting the opening map if they carry on.
I really like Stark's juking there, swapping into the scout rifle to get the movement speed in between shotgun blasts, making himself harder to hit. It did survive that one time, but unfortunately could not survive long enough. Hyped Up, they're only just behind, but as these kills trickle down, this might be that point of no return that we've talked about.
Oh, up on the site, Venom trying to go for the play. If he can get the kill, at least potentially pick up the cap here, it might be a different story.
I think it's over, man.
Yeah,
50 points left to go. It's naturally ticking down. Yakuza USA take the first map. This is not going to be a 3-0. It's going to be, at the very least, a 3-1 if they don't take the win, or maybe this is the start of a 3-0 in Yakuza USA's favor. How would that be for a finishing touch?
See, that would be crazy, right? If they're actually able to carry on playing like that and keep it going, it would be really good. But the difference is, we haven't really got that many control point maps in this veto. From what we had, it's a big old mix. We've got a little bit of everything. And I think that is actually where Hyped Up excel. The fact they're a little bit more... I said they've got fluidity to them. They know how to actually adapt. They're not going to get overwhelmed and frustrated that they're not playing a certain type of game mode. They are very effective at playing the good majority, and this was still pretty damn close. So the fact is, it being control point did give Yakuza an ever so slight edge. When we then move on and play a couple of different things, like TDM getting thrown into the mix, King of the Hill being thrown back in, how are both these two teams going to stand up? That's the bit that's still interesting for me, and that's probably one of the things with Guns of Boom. You can never really call it off the first map. It's always based off a map-by-map game, sort of a map-by-map basis, purely because of the difference in game modes.
It's also the amount of maps that we have to play. If you're the best team in the business, I would definitely favor you hire in a system that vetoes more maps, so you have more to play. That very simply pretty much means that if you are essentially a cut better than the rest, and you're used to winning, and you're experienced in playing in multiple game modes, if you're in a position where you've got to win 3 maps and not 2, I would always say that the team that has the better track record in terms of tournament results, I'll always rate them higher. And that's why I will not count out Hyped Up after that first map. I mean, by all means, that could be the start of something really special for Yakuza USA. This could be their tournament, but this is not going to be a one-map scenario. So we're going into a multitude of different game modes. I believe we did see Atrium banned away, if memory serves me correctly. The Europe Square is the decider map. That's going to be, if we go all the way down into a map 5, we'll see control points again. But we're not going to be seeing them for some time. It's going to be Paradise Island up next, and Hyped Up are one of the most aggressive teams in the entire community. So if you're going to be an aggressive team, Paradise Island was built for your playstyle.
Well, let's dive into it. It is very explosive normally. Hyped Up, they normally look quite good on this map, but Yakuza kick it off well. Optimus spills the first blood, but Solid Snake will return the favor as Venom also gets involved. Venom carrying on to just annihilate as he will slay Goku. Now
an early lead for Hyped Up. They took a bunch of kills and They have the center of the point. They're starting to work around together. It almost feels like they're actually allowing the points to get taken. Either that or the 2 knife kills that Yakuza just took is purely because they did not have the armor to survive. And because they got so many bonuses, we saw brutal kills, we saw butchered, we saw doubles here, a grenade as well. All of that has put Yakuza back in the lead. The suicide from Thanos unfortunately puts them further behind. You hate to see that kind of thing happen, but they always take the risk, right? It's risk calculation.
Well, they now have control. They're going to push their way back around. The kills are coming through. Thanos forced back majorly as they will connect these shots to him. Venom going to be punishing him. Up on the bomb site, though. Nope, doesn't matter. User will catch off Optimus and not allow him to actually find success there as he pushes his way back around. It's 200 to essentially 400 at this point as Hyped Up are just bounding their way ahead. And it seems like they're definitely wanting to prove a point off the back of that first map loss.
We talked about how you can't set the tone based on the first map because of how drastically different each game mode is, and this is case in point why. The level of comfort from Hyped Up. They're never a team to give up the ghost, even when things are looking quite bad. There's the recovery. A swift 2v2, they trade it back and forth. Optimus takes down a second. User gets 1. I will see if he can actually win the 2v1. Unfortunately cannot. J-Master gets 1 kill, but I always want to say, you know, move your eyeballs up on the top of the screen. You can see a significant lead for Hyped Up.
The kills are starting to come back through. Hyped Up, they do have that huge lead, but can they keep adding to it? As there is a response from Yakuza USA at the very least. They're starting to actually make their move on the opposing force now, and they are only 100 points behind with 2 minutes left on the clock. They hit the 500 mark. Hyped Up sitting there on 600, and they're building. They're hunting in a firing squad, the 3-man pack as they push around, and it was looking pretty damn effective until they were dismantled by Venom.
Now here comes that repositioning. They got a nice cluster of kills, which allowed them to stagger the respawns. Coming out at a set time allowed Hyped Up to kind of pick some locations to hold. Stark getting a double kill, a triple kill, in fact, which has now given them well over 800 points. That first to 1,000 scenario means Hyped Up are in top form, on the verge of making this a 1-1 and giving us the grand finals we thought we possibly could see.
Yeah, that is true. And that's sort of more along the lines of what we were thinking this one was going to go down like, really. Be more of a 1-1, build from that point. Probably actually be quite a close series and then fall in the end in favour of Hyped Up, I would imagine. And actually, yeah, if you look at it right now, still constantly getting the extra point gain. Just very, very effective in terms of what they've been bringing to the table here, really, on Hyped Up.
This late, I mean, Stark can just kind of effortlessly pump into people there. He knows that even if he dies, they just need to kind of trade 1-1s now because they're so far in the lead. If they trade 1-1s until the end of this game, they're going to win because Yakuza don't have the point to contest. Don't have the score either. Here we go. 1 more kill. Easy 2v1. Hyped Up. Kind of polishing that one off, really. Very, very convincing, steady victory. And now it's going to be 1 game apiece, giving us a closer grand finals, to be honest. I thought maybe we could see things be close, but my kind of brain said maybe Hyped Up would take this 3-0 because of just how well they consistently play. Glad to see it be at least 1-1, especially after a dominant map number 1. But that turnaround on Paradise Island is case in point why Hyped Up are not to be underestimated.
Well, it has definitely been a interesting grand final at this point so far. And it's just going to be exciting when we really get into the crunch time, right? Because now it's 1-1. Both of these two teams are going to be reset. Yakuza, that's when they're going to be a little bit worried because it's the fact that you've gone 1-1, you make another mistake, you really are pushing it close, right? There's no real safety net in the best of 5 once you start losing those maps, giving your opponents the edge. If they get 2 map wins, it's 1 away from the victory. That'll be you stuck in second place. They're going to want to try and creep up and steal the first if they can. But it's seeming like Hyped Up are back on form.
I don't see the teams wasting too much time either. I kind of see us going from one map to another quite quickly, purely on the basis of, you know, both of these teams are feeling a lot of momentum. You know, at the end of the day, Hyped Up know they have what it takes to win because they win all the time. Now, if you're Yakuza USA, they had an amazing start, and then the second we kind of drastically changed game modes, you start to see the differences in how the teams approach the game. You know, the more aggressive team can take King of the Hill, the more, you know, I think calculated team can take control points. And then in Team Deathmatch, you know, the team that displays the most clutch will take Team Deathmatch. There are 3 different characteristics that a team need to follow to take each game mode, and the more you have one characteristic than another, I think greatly increases your chance of winning one of those game modes. So Hyped Up tend to show they are almost like a jack of all trades, and that's why they win convincingly quite regularly. And then you take someone like Yakuza USA that maybe they're a bit stronger on Control Point than other maps. It's kind of as you said though, we won't see Control Point until the final decider match.
Yeah.
I do think Atrium was taken out of play. So that said, they're going to have to win one of the other modes to even bring us into that final map situation to be back on a mode that they feel comfortable in.
And that is quite a scary prospect, obviously, the fact that it's still so far away from them. It isn't by any means just going to be an easy feat, and it's looking a little bit worrying, right? Because you've got to take into consideration, at what point does the fatigue or the fact that, you know, the stress there in that final catch up with them and sort of force them into playing a little bit of an unorthodox style, possibly rush their decision making to try and get an advantage, and for things to go wrong. There's all sorts of potential behavior traits that could come into effect here to change the outcome of the series. But we are currently 1-1. It's a best of 5. The first person with 3 map wins under their name will take the victory here and be able to walk away. But we're back in on Military Warehouse.
No 2v2s here. We see the entire roster of Hyped Up sticking together. Venom, I feel like Venom is just a master of First Blood. It almost always seems to be this guy just securing that early burst of points. Magat, wrong place, wrong time, absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, he has been taught a lesson there. Optimus going to chuck a grenade through the window and then try and go for a big play. Goes for the push straight in, does spot Optimus, does spot Venom rather, but Venom still gets the kill on him, and oh no! In the meantime, J-Master's blown himself to bits with the grenade again.
Keeping them behind. You can get 1 kill for amazing points, and then you get a grenade kill, and you just undo all that hard work. Magat is putting the trap, unfortunately, just again, springing the trap. I feel like some of these players, they spring the trap before they're confident with how many people are actually around the corner. They see someone shoot and immediately try and, you know, go around and ambush, not realizing there's multiple people. Optimus with a double grenade, making it a triple kill, in fact. Very impressive stuff, but unfortunately it's not enough to get the lead. Hyped Up, still with 30 points in the advantage.
Oh, the crossfire. This is beautiful. It could actually work out very well as they're going to go for the play, cause them to look on the shot right instantly, and then the backstab coming through here from Goku, who will start to punish and take them down.
He's going to know how weak Solid Snake is. But again, being a little bit too eager, actually, allowing Venom to run through, who destroyed J-Master. J-Master just smelled blood and tunnel vision that. That's unfortunate.
Has actually forced their hand though. Solid Snake's also there very low, so if Optimus goes in for a push, surely he should get the follow-up frag onto Solid Snake. User has been punished by Thanos, and it is 217 to 228 now in terms of the standings.
Not watching out for that grenade. Optimus surgically placed, getting 2 for the price of 1, getting 1 kill, weakening the other. Stark running in full point blank. Wonderful knife and an even more wonderful grenade, bringing Hyped Up back into the lead. That was close for a split second, and now Hyped Up are starting to run away with it again. It comes down to the playmakers. Stark, Venom, 2 excellent players in Team Deathmatch.
Oh, the stab. J-Master trying to get it going once again as the triple kill will be located as he is just demolishing his way through. I like this as well. They've been playing these cheeky angles and the off angle, but the push, it's so bold. Luckily enough, he did cause them all to go into the choke point, and the nades did a ton of damage also. Follow-up frags being found by that shotgun.
Significant lead for Yakuza though. You wonder how quickly this happened. We spent all of the map with Hyped Up in the lead, and then a couple of amazing group fights. Yakuza with 50 points ahead. Looking really good. If they can make this 2-1, we very well might go down into that final control point that we're setting up for. Looking likely so far. Reaching the point where, again, Yakuza, they need to kind of royally screw up to lose this lead. They're taking every fight. And look at how weak. There is no stack worth fighting for Hyped Up, but somehow they've been able to claw their way back. They are now back in this fight. They can definitely win. They just need to concede no more kills. They need to be careful. Venom, no armor, my friend. You need to watch out.
Yeah, this is dangerous. At this point, Yakuza, if they were actually able to check out, locate, and dismantle the players with low armor or not any armor at all, it really forced them into a position where they could lock this down. And Do a ton of damage, but the push comes back around. Goku gonna get the double kill as the frags are starting to come back in. It was Solid Snake with 2, Goku with 2 of his own, but there is the follow-up kill. Stark goes down, and they get it.
I don't know why Stark just ran into them all there.
I'm really confused.
There was 3 members of Yakuza just sitting there in a group. Stark could clearly see that they were all there, and he knows that 1 kill will lose them the game. Yet he still ran straight into them, and even if he got 1 kill there, which he did do, it's meaningless.
Yeah.
He's going to die, and the game is going to be over. This is one thing I'm noticing about some of these players, even at the highest level of competition. I just question sometimes their eagerness to go in, their over-eagerness to go in. They see a kill opportunity, they try and chase it down. They seem to not care about the consequences, even if the consequences is a lost map in Grand Finals.
Yeah, again, you know, really what it could be is either potentially just overconfidence in that situation, hoping that if they go for a big play, maybe they can step up massively, you know, catch them off guard. But the only downside is when you really only have that little stock left, right? If you suffer a casualty, the whole game's going to go wrong anyway. And now at this point, we're pretty close to actually seeing, you know, the 3 map wins and Yakuza winning it, which would be very, very odd compared to what we normally see on the show.
It's the kind of win that can cause a team to deliver a well-earned pop-off. You know, these teams will be feeling good. If Yakuza USA can pull off this win and take it 3-1, again, it's going to send a message more than anything else. It's going to show teams that there is more than one top dog in this part of the world. Hyped up, you know, again, just to kind of sort of clear up. I'm definitely not saying that Hyped Up don't lose, because they definitely lose in some of the off-stream cups. But the second the cameras are live and we're in a studio and the stream is here and everyone is watching it from home and everything is counted and that extra layer of stress is applied, Hyped Up are the team that bring their A game, they step up to the plate, and they deliver that W every single time. If this is the time they don't win, all the power to Yakuza USA. They're in the running already as a top 3 team, and if they can defeat Hyped Up, then I feel like maybe they could defeat anyone.
Yeah, it's true. It's also really good for them to even just get this matchup, though, just once again to prove what they can do. Build themselves up and get ready, obviously. In reality, all these teams should currently be in full swing of getting themselves ready for November for LA, right? Like, this should be the harshest practice cycle we've ever seen any of them actually get up to. But you never know. Anyway, we are back into the action, back in the wild, wild west, as we're going to be carrying on with this one.
I mean, just to, if you think about it, if that was a semi-final, that would have been 2-1 to Yakuza USA. That would have been them taking a semi-final. That would have been them eliminating Hyped Up if it was 2 out of 3. But the exchange of all exchanges, 34-34, that's how it's done. That is why these teams, you know, I feel like Hyped Up may be the strongest team in America, but I don't think the divide is 100% difference. I think there are definitely teams under them that are starting to catch up, and Yakuza USA is definitely one of them, as they now have a lead, but it's not very significant. Hyped Up by all means could take this one back, but for now, Yakuza, they have control of the point, they have map control, they have a nice amount of stack left to work with as well. Lots of health, lots of armor.
Ooh, nade's going to be thrown out. Ooh, Thanos right in the face, going to try and get that kill. Will be punished, of course, as they are overwhelmed. Hyped Up just dealing incredible bits of damage right now. Ooh. Aggro push as well. Good use of the nades. They're keeping it close. I mean, it's basically 200 for both teams.
And we are going close once again. Going to be hard to call until the last minute is my prediction. Stark from above. And I just realized that's a Predator mask.
Yeah, it is, right?
I don't know why it took me so long to realize what that is. That is so sick. I'm a fan. Ooh.
Yeah, it's coming back through, mate. It's not looking too fantastic because it's all tied up on either side. And Yakuza, if they pill themselves ever so slightly ahead, if the game carries on going so maintained like this, that could actually be them winning the series. I mean, that would be a 3-1 victory in favor of Yakuza USA. And it's possible. It could happen.
Hyped Up have a comfortable lead. But we know that in King of the Hill, your lead will only last so long. If you lose a group fight, if you lose the point, just like that, a lead can come back through. Okay, they get 1 point blank, which I believe was a brutal kill. We can see the Butchered as well coming through. Venom taking the point. Thanos just allowing them, almost felt like he completely baited them into taking it, getting the attention diverted. So Thanos jumps down and ambushes, getting a double kill as well. Hyped Up, though, they have a very significant lead. And I don't know, call it a gut feeling, but I believe this might be a map 5 situation.
I think this is going to be a victory here for Yakuza, mate. I reckon they're going to bring this one back as the kills start to come through. Still in favor of them. They're keeping it close. They just need to force Stark off the point. He will try and back off. They can go for the recap as well, and it's getting close now. It's 5-4-2 for Yakuza, and they're still going to be building, but User bounds down, grabs the deagle, chucks it to one side as he might find the frags, and it's close. They just need to win this firefight versus User. He's so low, the nades are dealing damage, but he couldn't actually get the kill, and now they've got a 100-point lead. They've also got the site control, and this is where it gets messy.
It's their ability to just completely close in on targets. They're also weak to the point where maybe one point-blank porcupine shot will take them out of the equation, but the second someone in Yakuza just runs in face first to try and deal with a kill, they get closed in on so fast, they get no kills and die instantly. It's a level of coordination that makes Hyped Up so dangerous to fight. Now they're starting to get some kills. They're starting to make a comeback as well. They need to establish control. They're trying to push them out, but I think they're pushing out with no cover to retreat to. So they're just taking all this guaranteed damage. Thanos takes down another one. This is still so close, Jackie. Is this a tournament point for Yakuza? Or is Hyped Up going to tie the knot?
Oh, the over-aggression Venom! Oh, Venom right there and there might have actually just saved it for them. Genuinely, I think he has actually just kept Hyped Up in the game for good with that one. That will push him to another map, I believe, now off the back of that, because it was ridiculous. Goku going to jump himself on the point, though, and try and defend. User comes charging back through. It's just so easy to put him to bed now with the weaponry they have in their hands.
J-Master going in with the big guns. The Thanatos says hello, but they have to watch out. They can still win if they get one good group fight. Whilst being as careful as physically possible may be. Here we go. The closing moments. Very close indeed. Evenly matched. Completely identical. Yakuza. Are they going to do it? One more tick. And there it is. Yakuza USA get the natural ticking of the point control. And they finally defeat Hyped Up in a streamed GO4 finals.
That's ridiculous, considering the fact the amount of times we've had that matchup where Hyped Up have pretty much consistently, if they have made it to the finals, won the finals, have now lost, and especially in that manner as well, 3-1 in favour of Yakuza. It's outrageous.
This is history being made, is what it is. Hyped Up have won basically every single streamed cup. They have seemed utterly unstoppable, even to the point where some people are saying they are their picks not only win on the American side, but winning the entire Season 1 finals. Because when the chips are down and they're playing on stream, they just don't lose. That now changes today. Yakuza USA have been able to make this history moment and prove there are more teams in America that can win it all when the cameras are on, the games are streamed, and you lovely people at home are watching the gameplay. How about that result, Jackie? Madness.
Yeah, wild stuff. The thing is, what a way to end it as well, right, on a map like that, because the entire time it got to the point where it's so back and forth, and you're thinking, surely, you know, this is going to go to another map, and it's then the debate where it's like, well, no, hang on. They brought it back, literally neck and neck for the entire thing, and the fact then that sudden burst to finish it at the end in favour of them, ridiculous. Genuinely just across the board, seeming like they played well. Good firefights. They won a lot of individual huge plays, and Yakuza deserved it. I mean, a 3-1 victory there over Hyped Up. That is absolutely massive for Yakuza, and you can't help but think they're going to be enjoying that extra benefit of points that actually could help them out quite wildly here, because they're currently in that third place position. They are below V. With the added points they've got from that, it will be interesting to see how that affects the standings later on.
Yeah, I mean, they just need to keep playing to this level during the off-stream cups that give them the total point contribution, and hopefully when we do the next GO4, we'll see if they have the fruits of their labour from their big win today. You can see in the bracket it was 2-0, 2-0, 3-1. Yakuza USA have had a monstrous performance here, and it has gone incredibly well for them. Massive congratulations again for your performance today in the GO4. But with everything said and done, Jackie, we're going to sign out. That's everything we have time for. Thank you all very much for sticking with us. It's been a longer day today because, my word, the games have just been closer, which has given you lovely people some long matches to enjoy. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you very much to the ESL France team, actually, for taking this on board. It's very hectic going on in the UK team right now, so we've had to sort of compromise and use the studio, and you guys have accommodated us wonderfully and given us a great show.
It's been lovely.
So thank you very much for your support. Cheers for watching, guys. Thank you as always, and we'll see you in the next GO4.
C'est la vie.